Hi, I'm Michelle Adubato. The North Ward Center is committed to educating the public about the importance of community programs that give all New Jersey residents a chance for a better life. That's why we're proud to support the important educational programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, the New Jersey Education Association, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community, Create, the Give Something Back Foundation, providing mentors and scholarships to help Pell Grant-eligible students go to college and graduate in 4 years debt-free, Adler Aphasia Center, helping stroke and brain injury survivors recover their speech, and by the North Ward Center. Promotional support provided by NJ Biz, all business, all New Jersey, and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. It is not actually one-on-one today. We actually have one-on-three. It is our honor and pleasure to introduce three very special guests. Our good friend Rich Robitaille, Associate Vice President, Office of Military and Veteran Affairs, and Tami Pichardo is Director of Military and Veteran Affairs, and Skyla, Service Dog in Training at Berkeley College, where our good friends at the college are very committed to veterans, those who have served our country and trying to make a difference. Make the connection with Skyla. What's going on here, and what role does Skyla play in helping our veterans?
Sure. Many of our veterans who served in combat operations in the recent wars, many veterans come back with a great deal of emotional issues, whether it be PTSD, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, these type of things. Many veterans suffer from these emotional issues their entire life. And there's been a great deal of research to show that dogs who can be trained to identify these conditions and actually help veterans and help soothe them and help relieve those symptoms of those issues that they challenge.
Yeah. You have a special relationship with this dog.
Well, she is a rescue. And the biggest thing for me was that we were able to adopt a rescue, give her a second chance at life, give her a good home, and give her the second opportunity and the understanding, just like the veterans go through. And I love her and she loves me.
She got a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
Veterans get a second chance when they come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
They need that.
Describe, break this down for us a little bit. A service dog, right, like Skyla, what do they do for veterans? And be really clear for people, because I don't think people really have a sense of how powerful that connection could be. Talk about it, Rich.
Right, dogs can sense the emotions in a person, as you know. So if a veteran has anxiety, suffers depression, for example, if they start bouncing their leg or they start to have a panic attack, the dog can feel that emotion and will go over to the veteran and rest their head on them or serve as someone they can pet and comfort, take their mind off whatever it is troubling them. Dogs, they use them in all facets of life, and we have some veterans at our school that have their own service dog that can be trained to detect when they're going to have a breakdown or some type of episode.
Skyla senses emotions?
She senses and reacts to emotions, yes.
So it's so interesting. We were just talking about this before we got on the air. We just got a little puppy named Vinny a few months back. We never really had dogs in our world, in our family. I'm learning to get more comfortable with dogs, because
Sure.
I'm not going to talk about experience I had earlier on as a kid. But the fact is, we've had a little bit of fear. She can sense that fear?
Absolutely.
100%.
How?
It's what you put off. It's your body language. It's how you stand. It's how your voice sounds. It's how you look at her and how she's letting you receive her. The angle that you look into her eyes. Are you looking directly or are you looking to the side of her?
And so for a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
he or she is experiencing whatever they're experiencing. Skyla sees that.
Yeah.
She shows emotion. She gets closer. She puts her head on that veteran's lap. What could it do for a veteran that potentially a human being couldn't do?
There's no judgment.
Explain that.
So a
No
human
judgment.
being, if you and I are sitting here talking, and you're telling me how you feel about something, I may have my own thoughts in my back.
Even
in
if
the
you're
back.
not telling me what you're thinking.
Right, even if I'm not telling you what I'm thinking. I'm still thinking something. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, I may agree with you, I may disagree with you. She doesn't care. She's here to just give you love and get your love back. She
Unconditional?
wants to please you.
Unconditional.
Unconditional, no matter what. There's no judgment. There's no previous thoughts.
But
nothing.
Skyla has right over here, service dog in training. Explain the training, Rich.
Well, she's currently under the guidance of a professional dog trainer.
Right.
The college supports this effort. The trainer is highly qualified in training all different levels, from therapy level to emotional support, all the way up to service dog training. And that process takes about 12 to 18 months to get a dog fully trained to be able to respond to any type of emotional need.
Talk about, because at West Point, I was up there recently, and there are a lot of service dogs in that environment. Is it becoming more and more prevalent, more and more popular?
Yes, it's also becoming more and more accepted.
What do you mean accepted?
When you used to go out and you used to see someone with a service dog, you would think, oh, they have a problem, something is wrong, they need assistance. Now, because dogs in general don't have the normal dog life that they used to have. They are part of your family. So when you go out and you see a veteran or you see a person with a service dog, whether it's a working dog, a seeing eye dog, or for PTSD, it's just so much more appreciated and understood. They, just like that, I mean, example,
Oh my
exactly
God.
how
Give a
she's
shot
sitting
at
here
Steve. Get
like
this, buddy.
She, she just wants to be loved.
And so she lives with you.
Yes.
How has it changed your life?
I have a baby. I have a baby.
Come on, really?
Well, for me, personally,
Yeah.
she's there. When I walk in the door, she's excited to see me. When I'm sitting down and I'm doing work, she's happy to be next to
But
me.
you take her to work?
I do take her to work.
No. At Berkeley, you take her to
I take her to work, yeah. She comes to work with me. She sits next to my, she sits at my feet.
Adapts to the environment.
Yeah. And then when a veteran walks in and they're upset about something or they are feeling anxious, immediately their tone changes because they see her. So she removes that angst that you first feel.
You know, you've been with us so many times before, and we're actually going to be launching a multi-part series on veterans and trying to understand what veterans need, and also trying to connect them to the services that are out there, and it'll be part of this discussion. Rich, you've been with us so many times before. I've asked you this before, but I need to ask you this again. To what degree do we, those of us who have not served, those of us who say we care, want to care, to what degree could we ever know what most veterans truly need when they come back, when it comes to being, I'm not even going to say successful, but people who adapt, live in society in a happy, fulfilled way? I know that's a loaded question. Do we have any idea, could we?
Well, it's difficult until you've been in certain environments, operating environments, we call it in the military, such as
Operating environments.
Yeah, such as combat environments or in combat theaters. When you come back out of that, a lot of our veterans, people don't understand the emotional, the rise and fall of their emotions that they go through. Many veterans suffer loss. They've seen their friends get hurt or killed. Right. They have substance abuse issues. They have disabilities themselves that they have to deal with.
Emotional, physical,
Emotional, physical disabilities. And a lot of those emotional and mental issues are not visible. You don't see the scars that are within someone's head. That's why the suicide problem is such a large issue. That's why the substance abuse issue is so large. There's so many wounds inside their minds that it's hard to understand unless you're one of them. And that's what dogs can identify and try and help.
Describe your service to our country.
Well, I have 28 years service in the United States Army. I'm a Desert Storm veteran. It's been a lot of years and a lot of service. I joined when I was 17 and be retiring soon, so almost done.
Talk about your commitment to our country when it comes to service.
I want to do everything I can to help them. They come home, they go away. I have family members. I'm not military. I have family members that are military. And I see, you can see it in their eyes when you look at someone.
What do you see?
The need to just be reaccepted, to be told that everything's okay, to be thanked for what they've done. It was their choice, yeah, but at the same time, it's still an amazing experience that, 1% of the, civilians experience?
Less. Yeah. Well, listen, Skyla is doing great things. I wonder if you could just...
Skyla is also, I don't know if you can see, she has an X on the top of her head.
An X, yeah, I noticed that.
she wouldn't fight. So she was supposed to be a fighting dog. And because she wouldn't fight, they scarred her up. They choked her out a bunch of times because her, her bark and everything is a lot different. And she's got a couple little nicks on her nose.
I see them.
And she had puppies that were taken from her. So she really, she went through the ringer, and she needed a good home.
Yeah. Skyla got a second chance, and she's helping others. Thank you for everything that you've done for our country, you're doing now, and thank you for what you're doing, and thank Skyla as well, and also our partners and friends at Berkeley. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
You did so good, Mama.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We are pleased to be joined by Shah Dabiri, who is a STEM Technology Manager, U.S. Army Armament Research, Development, and Engineering Center at Picatinny Arsenal. Good to see you, Shah.
Pleasure to meet you.
You're here to talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and
mathematics.
Math. And the other piece of this is something called ARDEC STEM. ARDEC stands for?
ARDEC stands for Armaments Research Development Engineering Center.
What the heck is that altogether? And that center brings together what kind of people?
ARDEC is located at Picatinny Arsenal on Route 15 North, right off Route 80. It's a little tiny
in New
entrance.
Jersey.
You
we
got
have
it.
an audience in many states.
You got it. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a little tiny exit to the home of the Armaments Center. We are the home of cannon artillery for the entire Department of Defense. If it comes out of a gun, it's our problem. Whether it's coming towards you or we're shooting it towards somebody, it's our issue.
But the whole thing, and our friend Josh Weston, who is a big fan, by the way, he's one of the big fans of public broadcasting on our board as well, but also a big fan of Picatinny Arsenal and the work you're doing in STEM. But I was trying to figure out, I'm going to be clear on this. The ARDEC STEM program currently has over 400 New Jersey classrooms, thousands of students, teachers, parents, administrators. Intended to do what?
Our mission objective is very simple. We want to educate students, teachers, parents, and administrators regarding a career in STEM. The idea is that we in the Army, we in the Department of Defense, we in our nation, we need kids, young individuals, to pursue STEM education.
Are not enough doing it now?
Not enough. We are on a deficit. We desperately need more. We live in New Jersey. It's the home of STEM. People don't realize that most of what we take for granted today, be it Thomas Edison to Nikola Tesla to all the pharmaceuticals, came from New Jersey. And the fact that New Jersey is running low on STEM students is kind of strange. So the idea is to educate students regarding what it means to be a scientist, what it means to be an engineer, and maybe they'll consider it as a career choice, as an opportunity to not only better themselves, but better our society.
How do you get them excited about it? Give us something, for instance, as to how you actually do that.
The number one tool I have at my disposal are my scientists and engineers. At Picatinny, I've got 3,000 of the world's best scientists and engineers. And we deploy these people, men and women of incredible intellect, into the classroom to work with the teachers. And they answer the age-old question that every student since Aristotle had. When am I ever going to use this? When am I ever going to use trigonometry? When am I going to use physics? When am I ever going to need to learn how to write a coherent sentence?
Yeah.
And my engineers and scientists will go in and answer the question. Well, kids, this is my job. My job is trigonometry. I use trig to determine GPS coordinates. I use physics, it's projectile motion. I use language arts. If I'm incapable of speaking and writing coherently, how can I ever communicate my thoughts as a scientist or an engineer to my fellow man? And that's my most powerful tool I deploy.
But you also do something else. I'm going to show some video. You weren't thinking this, but the pumpkin slinging contest. Is it a contest?
Yeah, it was an honest-to-goodness pumpkin slinging contest at Picatinny Arsenal.
So hold on. So what does this have to do with STEM, Shah? I don't get this. Pumpkins are being slung.
Well,
whoa!
Picatinny Arsenal is the home of cannon artillery.
Okay.
Good old cannons. Everything from Napoleon to a current M777. That's where it comes from. And the organization gave us a call and said they were looking for a place to run a competition, and we had to say yes. So we worked with an organization locally to set up a pumpkin slinging contest, and it was perfect. The home of cannon artillery hosted pumpkin slinging.
What kind of reaction did you get from the students?
They're blown away. Not only were they firing their pumpkins in the Picatinny Lake, which was a blast, they got to see some of the latest and greatest technology on the ground. Most students don't see large weaponry, be it tanks, armored personnel carriers, or artillery pieces like the M777 or the M119. So they got to see exactly where the progression of what they're learning goes from. It goes from learning the kinematics of throwing a pumpkin, in this case about 300 meters, to throwing a 103-pound projectile 30 kilometers. So they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And okay, not all of them will want to become weapons system experts, but if enough of them start studying engineering and science and they go into something else, I'll take the next Elon Musk. I'll take the next great idea if I come close to it.
When did you know that you were fascinated by science and technology? Were you a kid?
Yes, sir, I was. It was in Iran. I was born in Iran in 1977. My grandfather, who is my hero, owned a repair place.
In Iran?
Yeah, yeah. He owned a projector repair studio where they repaired the projectors for the movie theaters. And he was an engineer for Langley Motors, Land Rovers, and he transferred into movies. And he would bring me into his shop, and he would show me how they would fix these machines. Wow. And these things were massive. They were gorgeous. They were like cathedrals. And he taught me how things went together and that every machine has got a soul. And it was very cool. And
you were hooked.
Hooked from the beginning. He did want to kill me after I took apart one machine completely and didn't know how to put it back together. But he forgave me, thank God. And I became an engineer. And he was very proud of that.
It's so interesting. We were actually, one of our academic partners, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, we actually have an innovation series we're going to be starting with them down the road. Academic institutions of higher learning play a critical role in this regard, do they not?
Yes, sir, they do. We set up the kids K through 12. We would do our best to get our engineers and scientists in. We speak to the kids, we get them excited. The big issue that we've noticed is a lot of kids and parents are confused. They don't realize how rich New Jersey is in respect to all its great universities. They keep thinking they got to send their kids off to MIT.
Got to do that, right?
Yeah, you got to go to. Yeah, you don't need MIT. Don't get me wrong; it's a great school. You don't need Caltech; it's a good school. But you have Rutgers. You have, Rutgers is an amazing university. You have Stevens, which has done amazing things. NJIT has changed the world in so many ways, and it's become an issue that we love sending our engineers and scientists who graduated locally to tell the kids, you can stay local, you can get an amazing education, and you can work local.
Listen, this whole STEM initiative, people say, hey, listen, haven't we talked about it enough? Our argument is there are students who have not been introduced, who have not been turned on. There are still opportunities. There is a need, so we have a responsibility to keep talking about it. And Shah, you've helped us tremendously. Shah Dabiri, STEM Technology Manager, United States Army Armament Research Development Engineering Center at Picatinny Arsenal. Thanks so much, Shah. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Stay right there. We'll be right back right after this on One on One.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
This conference that we're at here in South Jersey has been put together by the folks at Virtua. It is called The Evolving Role of Telemedicine, Driving Quality, Access, and Cost Savings. And the team here that's put it together has been led by Rich Miller, the President and Chief Executive Officer at Virtua. Rich, I just finished a terrific, not that I was terrific, but the panel was terrific and the audience was great, dealing with public policy questions around telehealth, telemedicine. Why the conference overall? Because, everyone who is anyone in the area of healthcare is here.
Well, it's important. It's important to get the messaging out about the use of telemedicine, which we've been heavily engaged with for years now, Steve. So, it's used in all venues. It's used in the hospital. It's used at home. It's used in the primary care offices. So it's becoming a mainstream part of how we deliver patient care.
So talk about it. The definition of telemedicine, I'm not going to say it's complex, but it's multifaceted.
It is multifaceted. So there's different ways. Telemedicine has different definitions to it. So, for example, patient comes in the emergency room with a stroke. We can do telemedicine, connect that patient to a neurologist to find out the depth of the stroke. And the neurologist can be anywhere in the country examining this patient. That's how well defined the systems are today to be able to do that. So that's one example. And then the example of patients now that are at home with chronic disease, say a patient has congestive heart failure, and we need to monitor them at home. We can do that as well through our home health aides and our nurses, be able to monitor patients at home.
So it's so interesting. It's everything in between, from the most sophisticated, stroke-related, with a neurologist, right?
Right.
With someone who's dealing with a chronic disease, chronic issue with their physician, they want to have a telephone conversation.
And it's as simple too, Steve, as a person with a bad cold that might need to connect to a primary care physician through Teledoc, which we offer to our community, and they call, they get a primary care physician, and they get a script for their cold. So it ranges from very simple episodic care to extreme stroke care. I mean, it's that, and even telepsychiatry, which is done now in the emergency room through that. So it could be complex or simple.
Let's talk a little bit about this. So I'm thinking about people's traditional paradigm or view of hospitals. You want to have people in the hospital because that's how you make your money. But it seems counterintuitive because it's like, hold on, if we're doing this telemedicine, telehealth thing, they're not in the hospital. Right. They're at home. Right. They're communicating with their clinical professional, not in the hospital, but where they are. Explain that.
Well, it's a way to get patients and the consumer connected to patient care. So in other words, 50% of our community does not have a primary care physician. It's an amazing statistic, but approximately 50%. So how do we connect, for example, that patient to a physician? If they're not connecting, going to an office environment, seeing their doctor, we still want them to receive care and take care of their chronic disease conditions. So in a way, it's really promoting health and wellness to the consumer, so they're seeing physicians. Now, what we would like to do, because we still think, Steve, there is a great importance of having that physical contact with your physician personally. So, we can see somebody through telemedicine, then eventually connect them personally.
When you spoke this morning, when you kicked off this conference with these terrific healthcare professionals from across the region, you talked about telemedicine, telehealth as a tool, part of a toolkit, right? It's not the whole toolkit, but it's part of a toolkit, medical, clinical, healthcare toolkit. Talk about that.
Well, what it is it's part of what we do for patients. Some patients want the personal contact with their physician. Some patients don't want personal contact constantly with their physician. That's the way it is. It's the society we live in. But the goal overall is to have all the tools in the toolkit that we can provide access to the community for patient care. So they feel, if I'm home and I'm really sick and I have a bad flu, and I don't want to leave my house, what access do I have to?
You have to come to the office.
You have to come to the office to see the doctor. And sometimes that's not practical. It's not practical for a mom that's working with 2 kids to get out of the house and see their doctor all the time because they can't do that. So to provide different points of access to the community is going to be critical in the future care of people.
Millennials and telehealth.
Right. Millennials, whole different animal. I mean, I have 2 daughters. They're 33 and 30, and I have to tell you something. And then I have 2 grandchildren. That's a whole nother story where everything's done off of an iPad. So millennials and the next generation are going to be looking for tools much different than I'm a baby boomer, much different than me. And I'm looking for tools. But personal contact may be a little bit more important to me. Millennials, it's not as important. It's getting the appointment quickly through their iPhone, getting to, calling Teledoc, getting what they need and moving on. Very, very important for millennials to have that.
We were talking with so many of the colleagues that were here today, and they were talking about the need for regulation, the need for the government to be involved here, and establishing some guidelines in terms of reimbursement, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, public policy, you deal in public policy, you've engaged in complex public policy and political issues, whether you like it or not. It's part of your job. How much should the government be involved in this?
Well, I mean, I can see a role for the government in this in terms of regulating the service to make sure you have the right providers in the network, that these are board-certified physicians that are providing service. What you don't want to do is over-regulate it so much that it becomes costly to the community to provide the service. And And that's what we don't want to see. Typically, too much regulation leads to more cost and obstacles in getting care to patients. So some is required. I agree that we need some oversight in terms of the physician population and the way it's provided, but keep it at a minimum.
So require a certain amount, but overregulation is a problem. And just I want to be clear, what could overregulation actually produce?
Overregulation can actually produce the fact that we have to live up to standards that are beyond what we should be living to with telemedicine. In other words, does the telemedicine process become so cumbersome that we have so many levels of people involved in the process that we're adding so much cost to this? The goal of telemedicine is to make healthcare less expensive, to get access to people in a less expensive way. That's what we're going to try to do. Don't overregulate so that doesn't happen.
Final question. If I were to ask you what you see for telemedicine in the next 5 years, what would you say?
I think it's going to be a major explosion in how we deliver care. I really believe that a lot of physicians are really warming up to telemedicine. And a lot of physicians weren't in favor of this, especially in the primary care world. Now they're seeing the benefits of what we're doing in telemedicine. So I think we're going to see a lot more, especially, Steve, with the shortage of physicians and clinicians in the United States today. We're recruiting primary care physicians. We'll take as many as we can get. They're hard to get. So if we have other avenues to care for patients, it's going to be important. And I think that's where you're going to see the explosion.
We need creative solutions.
Absolutely. If we're going to care for patients properly and we're going to have enough clinicians doing it, these are the solutions we need.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by TD Bank, the New Jersey Education Association, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, CREATE, the Give Something Back Foundation, Adler Aphasia Center, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.